Rachel stood at the bride's table and tapped her champagne glass. The murmur of 100 guests faded.
Before we cut the cake, I want to say a few words.
She thanked James's parents, then her bridesmaids one by one.
To Maya, my college roommate, you've been my anchor since freshman year. And to Ben, who flew across the country to be here.
She named the caterer, the band, even the florist. But she did not say Mom or Dad. Linda's smile hardened into bewilderment. Darren blinked, his mouth parting slightly. The room filled with a dense silence. Guests glanced at one another, sensing something off.
Thank you all for sharing this day with us.
For 11 years, her family had left her birthday unmarked. Tonight, she had returned the gesture. No one in that room yet knew why. 1 year earlier, Rachel's 30th birthday, she woke to the buzz of an alarm and the silence of her phone. No texts, no missed calls, no family group chat well wishes.
Not even a 2-word text from anyone who shared her last name.
She went to work, sat through meetings, came home and ate cold pasta alone. Nobody called.
Maybe tomorrow they'll remember?
A week later, a pale pink envelope landed in her mailbox. The postmark read August 26th. Inside, the card read, "Happy belated birthday, sweetie. We'll do dinner soon, I promise. Love, Mom." The dinner never materialized. Linda's promises evaporated into the next forgotten week, the next unacknowledged month.
They don't mean to hurt me. They just don't think of me at all.
That year marked the 10th forgotten birthday in a row. The pattern was a stone worn smooth by repetition.
Next year will be different? Or maybe it won't.
But the forgetting had started long before 30. At 20, Rachel ate a gas station cupcake alone in her dorm room.
Happy birthday to me.
At 25, her phone buzzed with a message from Chloe. "Can you grab Mom's cake for Sunday?" Not a word about what day it was. By 28, the cards stopped coming altogether. Rachel's birthday had become a blank on the family calendar. But when Chloe turned 25, the family threw a party with a 3-tier cake and a banner that stretched across the living room. Linda uploaded a photo collage to the family group chat, Chloe blowing out candles, Darren grinning, a dozen relatives tagged. Rachel's name wasn't mentioned.
They remember everyone else. Why not me?
The disparity wasn't a secret. It was architecture, solid, predictable, and utterly invisible to everyone but Rachel. For 11 years, the pattern held. Her family celebrated every sibling, every cousin, every milestone except hers. Rachel had long stopped buying balloons for herself. The silence was proof enough. 2 months before the wedding, Chloe turned 27. The living room brimmed with streamers and the competing aromas of cake and champagne.
Chloe, sweetheart, stand by the cake so I can get a picture. The lighting is perfect right here.
Rachel stood near the window, holding a glass of sparkling water nobody had offered her. She'd been there 40 minutes and no one had said her name.
I could leave right now and they wouldn't notice for an hour.
She set her glass on a crowded side table and slipped out the front door without a goodbye. The evening air hit her face like a cold washcloth.
I can't keep doing this. Hoping is heavier than disappointment.
At home, she pulled a cardboard box from the closet, the box where she'd kept the banners and candles she used to buy for herself before each birthday.
I don't need these anymore. They were never for me.
She sealed the box and pushed it to the back of the shelf. Not anger, not grief. The quiet click of a door closing inside her. From that night forward, she would stop expecting to be seen. Whatever came next would come without hope as a witness. 6 months earlier, on a Sunday in a park with burnt orange leaves, James knelt and held out a ring. Rachel said yes before he finished the question.
August 23rd? That's your birthday. Are you sure you want to hand them that date?
I'm not handing them anything. I'm not changing my date because they can't be bothered to remember it.
She mailed the save-the-date cards herself, each envelope addressed in tidy script. August 23rd sat at the center, bold and undeniable.
2 weeks. And not a word. Not even a funny coincidence from my mother.
Linda phoned that Thursday about table linens and flower arrangements. The number on the invite didn't register even when she recited it back for confirmation.
She's reading the date out loud and still doesn't see it.
She told James over dinner that nobody in her family had noticed. He reached across the table and covered her hand with his.
You don't have to do anything. But if you decide to, I'm with you.
Rachel nodded. That evening, she placed the remaining save the date on her dresser, the date staring up at her. The silence from her family was the only answer she needed. Over the following weeks, Linda rang about centerpieces, the DJ playlist, the seating chart. She never once mentioned August 23rd beyond its logistical utility.
It's like the date is printed in invisible ink.
We're putting Aunt Carol next to the window. She hates drafts, and your father wants the vegetarian option.
That's fine, Mom.
Rachel saved each voicemail, listening for any pause that might betray recognition. None came.
She says the date to the caterer, the florist, the priest, still nothing.
One evening, she stopped by her parents' house with the final guest folder. Darren barely looked up from his newspaper. Linda knitted and talked about the canapes.
The caterer says salmon is more elegant than chicken, but I told him you always preferred chicken as a child.
She remembers what I ate at 9, but not what day I was born.
She left with a polite goodbye, the realization settling like sediment. The silence was no longer a question. It was an answer. A month before the wedding, Rachel's family gathered at a steakhouse. Over clinking glasses, she watched for any glimmer of awareness.
Only 4 weeks until the 23rd. I still need to confirm the cake.
Oh my god, the bakery on Maple does a lemon curd filling that's insane. You have to try it.
Darren buttered his roll and nodded as if the date was just another square on the calendar. No spark.
Don't overspend on cake, Rachel. We still have the floral budget to manage.
They hear the number. They just don't hear what it means.
Before leaving the table, she checked her phone. No messages. No missed calls. No mention of her birthday from anyone who mattered. She excused herself with a quiet goodbye. No one protested. She walked out into the cold night alone.
11 years of forgetting. Tonight proved 12 would be no different.
Rachel kept walking. The decision that had been gathering shape for months finally turned solid. On her wedding day, she would return the silence in full. The night before the wedding, James found Rachel cross-legged on their bedroom floor. Her lap held a shoebox full of faded birthday cards.
Hey, what's all this?
11 years of belated cards. Look at this one postmarked 4 days late. Signed only Mom and Dad, not even my name.
They sent you a card without your name on it?
I'm not angry anymore. I'm just tired, James. Tomorrow I'm going to let the silence do the speaking.
You don't have to tell me the details. I trust you. But if it gets too heavy, I'm right there.
Rachel placed the card back in the box and closed the lid. The gesture was gentle, final, like tucking old grievances into a drawer.
Tomorrow, they'll feel what it's like to be erased. Just for a moment.
They sat together in the dim light, the weight of what was coming settling around them without the need for more words. The box went back on the closet shelf. Rachel turned off the light, and in the dark she allowed herself a single, quiet smile. The wedding morning was bright. Rachel sat in the bridal suite as a stylist twisted pearls into her hair. The mirror reflected her calm.
The flower arch is 2 inches off center. I called the coordinator twice already.
Mom, nobody will notice. Relax.
They've discussed flowers, food, and seating. Not once what day it actually is.
Her phone lit up on the vanity. A text from a college friend. "Happy birthday, Rachel. See you at the altar."
A friend remembered. Not one word from my mother, my sister, my father.
She silenced the screen and rose. A small, knowing smile settled on her lips.
Darren, where's my purse? I need my lipstick.
By noon, Rachel stood at the head of the aisle, her father's arm linked through hers. The organ swelled. The guests rose. Her family beamed from the front pews, unaware that the real ceremony had yet to begin. The reception buzzed with champagne and chatter. Darren had just finished a forgettable toast about fatherly advice and fishing trips. Linda dabbed her eyes. Chloe checked her phone. No one looked at Rachel. She lifted her champagne flute and tapped it 3 times.
11 years of nothing. This is the one moment they'll remember. I want to thank a few people who made today possible. First, to James's parents, Marga and Tom. You've treated me like family from the very first dinner.
The room clapped politely. Rachel's breathing steadied. She glanced at her note card, where no family names were written.
To my bridesmaids, Chloe, I know you helped with the flowers. Renee, you calmed me down when the zipper stuck. To Maya, who flew in from Seattle and still remembered my coffee order after all these years.
Guests lifted their glasses. Linda beamed from her seat, anticipating her own name. Rachel paused and set the note card down.
Not one name from my blood. Just like every birthday.
She lifted her chin and continued, the silence where her family's names should have been already pressing against the walls.
To Ben, who took the red-eye from Seattle and still showed up with that ridiculous grin. And to the Slow Burn Band, who learned our song on 2 days' notice.
She paused, scanning her note card as if checking for anything missed. Then she set it down.
Thank you all for making this day ours. Now please, enjoy the cake and the band.
She sank into her chair. The room held its breath, waiting for more. None came. Linda's smile melted into a confused frown. She leaned toward Darren but said nothing. Darren turned his head, scanning the room as if he had misheard. His jaw worked silently. Behind Rachel, the crowd rustled. 2 cousins leaned in, whispering. The silence was louder than any applause. Rachel lifted her champagne glass and took a slow sip. Under the table, James's hand found hers and pressed. She had done exactly what she'd planned. The room and her family would need a moment to understand what was missing. The silence fractured into a dozen low murmurs. Whispers bloomed across the banquet tables like water soaking through paper.
Did she forget about us entirely? Not one mention of any family.
No, she left us out on purpose. That was calculated.
Chloe rolled her eyes dramatically from across the room, a sharp scoff escaping her lips.
She's just being dramatic. It's not a big deal. She'll get over it by the cake cutting.
The DJ's voice cut through the rustle with practiced cheer, and now the bride and groom will cut the cake. Rachel rose without a backward glance. James fell into step beside her, his hand finding the small of her back. Linda stared holes into the white tablecloth, her jaw locked, her knuckles bone white around the champagne glass. Darren refolded his linen napkin for the 3rd time, unable to look at anyone, least of all his wife. Rachel walked toward the cake, the weight of unspoken names trailing behind her but never touching her shoulders. Rachel and James reached the cake table, a 3-tiered tower of ivory fondant and fresh roses. The guests pressed in, cameras raised. Linda slipped through the small crowd, her practiced mother-of-the-bride smile fixed too tightly on her face. The photographer signaled for them to hold the knife together. Rachel's hand settled on the silver handle. James's hand covered hers.
We need to talk. Now.
Rachel didn't flinch. The knife remained suspended above the cake. She met her mother's eyes in the polished silver reflection.
She's going to make a scene at my own cake cutting. Perfect. Can it wait until after we serve the cake, Mom?
No, it cannot wait. You humiliated us in front of everyone. Step aside.
Rachel handed the knife to James, who gave her a questioning look. She nodded once, then walked a few paces to the side with Linda.
She has no idea what I'm about to tell her.
You thanked the caterer, the band, your college roommate from Seattle. But you didn't say one word about your own mother. Not one word.
You're right, I didn't.
Linda's face flushed a deep, splotchy red. Her mouth opened, then closed as if the simple admission had stolen her prepared script.
Why would you do that? Why, Rachel? We have given you everything. We hosted this wedding. We paid for half of it.
You paid for the flowers and the appetizers. And I thanked the florist and the caterer. I think that's fair.
Linda's breath caught. Around them, the sounds of the reception clinked on, Glasses, laughter, the first notes of a slow dance.
This isn't a joke. People are talking. Your aunts, your uncles, everyone is asking what kind of daughter does that.
What kind of daughter? The kind who's used to being forgotten, Mom. It's a skill.
Linda's frown deepened, confusion flickering beneath the anger. She searched Rachel's face for a lie and found none.
What are you talking about? Forgotten when?
Because today is August 23rd, Mom. It's my birthday. For 11 years you've forgotten. Every single year.
Linda's mouth opened, but no sound came. The words hung in the air like a verdict.
I wanted to see how it felt to forget you for once. Just once.
Linda's gaze dropped to the floor, her face a canvas of shock, and something that might have been shame.
Now you know how it feels to be erased. Happy birthday to me.
Rachel turned away and walked back to the cake. She picked up the knife where James had left it, her hand perfectly steady.
Everything okay?
Never better. Let's cut the cake.
She let James cover her hand again, and together they pressed the blade into the white fondant. The first slice was clean and perfect. Behind them, Linda hadn't moved. The reception rolled on, but the weight of what had been said was just settling over the family table. Linda stumbled back to the parents' table, her face pale, eyes refusing to meet anyone. She sank into her chair as if the bones had left her legs.
What did she say? Linda, talk to me.
It's her birthday, today, August 23rd. She's been waiting for us to remember for 11 years.
Darren's face went slack. He turned to look across the room at Rachel, who was laughing with the band leader, and something like understanding creased his brow.
Wait, that's why she was so weird? It's just a birthday.
But Chloe's voice lacked its usual sharpness. She stared at her phone, at the date they'd all been ignoring for months. On the dance floor, Rachel swayed with James, her head tucked against his shoulder, a real smile breaking through for the first time all evening.
Rachel, that was brave what you did. I'm sorry we never said anything before.
Thank you, Aunt Carol. That means a lot.
The reception rolled on, a celebration now crisscrossed with a hidden fault line. At the family table, the silence was heavier than any music. The morning light slipped through the hotel curtains, soft and forgiving. Rachel sat in the armchair by the window, a cup of coffee cooling in her hands. James appeared behind her, still in his wedding shirt, and wrapped his arms around her shoulders. They stayed like that until the coffee stopped steaming.
How are you feeling this morning?
Lighter. And also sad. Like I finally put down a weight I didn't know I was carrying, but I can still feel where it was. I didn't want to hurt them. I just needed them to see what they'd been doing.
You didn't destroy anything they hadn't already broken. You just said the quiet part out loud.
I know. But it still stings that it took a wedding toast for them to notice.
They sat in the quiet that comes after a storm, not awkward, just settled. Outside, the city was waking up.
I don't know what happens next with them, and I'm okay not knowing.
She leaned into James's side, and the day stretched ahead of them. Not a wedding day anymore, just the first morning of the rest. Months bled into a year. Then, one morning in mid-August, a pale blue envelope landed on the kitchen counter, postmarked a full week before the 23rd. Rachel slid her finger under the flap. The card inside had no glitter, no cartoon balloons, just Linda's handwriting, tight and careful. Inside, the message read, "Happy 32nd birthday. We forgot too many times. I'm sorry. I'd like to try to do better."
She remembered the number. 32. That's a start. An apology can't erase 11 years, but an early card is a language we've never spoken before.
Rachel sat at her desk and pulled out a plain note card. She wrote only a few lines. She wrote back, "Thank you for the card. It arrived early this year. That means something." She sealed the envelope and set it by the door. No phone call, no invitation, just a receipt of acknowledgement.
Boundaries aren't walls. They're the lines that let you stand without falling.
The card sat on the counter for days before she tucked it into the shoebox with the others. This one was early. That was enough. 5 years later, Rachel sat on a park bench watching James push their daughter on a swing. Autumn leaves crunched underfoot. A figure appeared on the path. Linda, older and slower, carrying a small gift bag tied with a plain ribbon.
I hope it's okay that I came. I remembered what day it is.
It's okay. Thank you for the gift.
Rachel peeked inside and saw a simple leather journal and a pen. Not extravagant, just something she might actually use.
She's learning. Small gestures, no grand promises.
She has your eyes.
She does?
Rachel stood and called to James. They exchanged quick goodbyes, then walked toward the parking lot. Linda remained on the bench, a figure fading into the autumn leaves. The distance between them had become familiar, not hostile, just real. Carrying the small gift bag, Rachel walked beside James with their daughter between them. The late afternoon light caught the gold in the leaves.
I'll open it later. Or maybe not today. The gift isn't the point anymore.
Forgetting has a weight. For 11 years she had carried it alone. But some weights aren't meant to be set down dramatically. You just realize one day they're not there. The park was quiet. A breeze stirred the fallen leaves. The swing set stood empty behind them. James lifted their daughter into the car seat. Rachel paused and glanced back once toward the bench. The same small, knowing smile from her wedding morning crossed her lips. Quiet, private, entirely her own. It was not forgiveness. It was not forgetting. It was simply peace.
I didn't need them to remember. I needed to remember myself.
She got into the passenger's seat. The door closed with a soft thump, and the afternoon rolled on. In the passenger seat, Rachel watched the world scroll past the window, her face at rest.
It took a wedding to wake them up, and a quiet park to let it go.
Her reflection in the side mirror held no old grief, only the clear shape of a woman who had kept her own promises. The smile that once hid a plan now simply was. 11 years of silence had been repaired not by noise, but by a single quiet choice. Some wounds don't need a scar to prove they healed. James reached over and laced his fingers through hers. The road stretched ahead. The camera held on Rachel's face as the light softened into dusk. Not a triumphant grin, not a bitter smirk. Just peace. And that was enough. The frame held on Rachel's calm face until the road blurred into memory. Slowly, the screen dimmed to black. In the center of the black, a title card took shape, white letters on a dark field. My family forgot my birthday for 11 straight years. I forgot them at my wedding toast. That was the story of Rachel. Sometimes the people who should see us don't, until we make them. And sometimes the only thing louder than a forgotten birthday is a deliberately empty seat at a wedding table. If you've ever been overlooked, remember, the story isn't over. You get to write the toast. Thank you for listening. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll have another one for you soon. Until then, take care of your corner of the world. The screen goes dark. The story fades, but Rachel's smile stays, a quiet testament to invisible wounds healed without needing applause.